From the Keith Vincent Carroll Studios in Paterson, New Jersey, Green Hour Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, the Myrtles Plantation. What is going on at the Myrtles Plantation? And now your host, JC3.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember, everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout.
adamandeve.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Tonight's episode, as you heard Big Joe say, we're talking about the Myrtles Plantation in our second episode of Season 11, as we start, we're talking about ghosts and aliens this season. Well, ghosts and UFOs. In the booth tonight, you have Big Joe. Big Joe, say hello. This is your first episode of Season 11.
My first episode, yes, and I'm glad it's about the Myrtles, and welcome to our program.
I'm Wes. Nice to meet you.
Wes, I'm East. How are you?
Oh, he's Weast.
Weast.
Or tonight, as he's feeling after the
And
jet
you know what?
game.
And I really don't want to
Least.
make anybody to make fun of my garb. I have to do it because the powers that be in this wonderful organization can't afford to get me headphones.
Well, you know,
So I have
I'm
to
just
keep them on.
Just put it like that. The only
It's either that or 75 rolls of tape on my head.
the only two people in this booth that have consistently been paying the $70 over the summer are these two. So, you know, you want to change that.
Well, then someone's
That's not true.
mismanaging
That's
the
not
money.
true. That is
No.
not true.
I don't
Mr.
think we should-
West.
I don't think we should put our financial business out there for the rest of the world to hear.
Yeah,
Mr.
dick.
West is in the building. Hello.
Hi,
Welcome to the Myrtle Plantation.
I'm honored.
Yes. And the Pope is here.
That's right. I happen to be the Pope, and we're just gonna have ourselves a night with we're talking down about the Myrtle Plantation down in the bayous of Louisiana.
Are you Foghorn Leghorn?
I was it's so hard to put.
I said.
I'll say.
It is so hard to put that accent on and not say something incredibly fucked up and racist. Like every fiber of my being is just shouting.
Just wants to shout out the N-word, doesn't it?
Not that. Let's not go that far.
He wants to go that far.
Yeah.
No, I do not.
Yes, he does.
It does, folks.
Fuck, I don't.
Uh-huh. All right. So, Anthony, you did a lot of research for this episode.
I did. The Myrtle Plantation is fascinating for me because it is purported to be the most haunted house in the United States of America. That's what a lot of people believe. And this is one of those places that when you are researching it, you find that tragedy happens in this place over and over again.
I mean, obviously, it was a slave house, wasn't it?
It was at one point, but you find that, like, especially when it comes to like doing ghost hunting and researching into haunted places, the places that are haunted the most are the places with consistent tragedies regardless of who was living there, regardless of what year. It's one of those things like you find the most fucked up things in the places that it has the darkest histories.
Well, that's why I think
Like
a lot.
Auschwitz?
Well,
I mean, if you want to throw that out there, I
haven't
guess.
I mean, yes,
Well,
dark.
let me ask, you know what? That's a good point. Did we ever hear any hauntings of those places?
Of
mean,
like Auschwitz? I don't know. I've never done any research in like the ghosts or hauntings of Auschwitz. I know that I know that the Nazis tried to destroy all evidence, so they burned down buildings and on those properties.
Right.
So I don't know if there's. I mean, there are still some buildings there, but I don't know if anyone's
the mass graves and shit that are there. I mean,
right. I don't
People
know if
walking
anyone's
around
ever
endlessly.
done that. Like, I think there's a line between like, hey, you want a ghost hunt, and it's like you don't want a ghost hunt here. Let's have a little decorum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand.
You know,
that.
but at the same time, they also have a gift shop. So where do you draw the line?
They got a gift shop.
They
in
do.
Auschwitz?
They do have a
Please
gift
tell
shop.
me no.
I think they do.
They have.
Please tell.
I
Please tell me
visited
no.
Auschwitz long ago. It was a stupid shirt. They were selling that back in the 40s too, but they didn't have many buyers.
All right. What about the Myrtles, Anthony?
Okay.
Because
yeah.
this one just
I
went
mean,
off the rails.
granted, getting back to ghosts, every time you have a ghost or a haunting, there's going to be a significant amount of tragedy. Because if you do if the research suggests and you believe in ghosts and you believe in all that stuff, that's what they say draws these entities to stay there is the tragedy that happened on that land or in that building,
Right.
or attached to that item.
Right, that's true. So let me start with the history, right? So the Myrtles is located in St. Francisville, Louisiana.
St. Francis.
That is adjacent to the Mississippi River. It's about, depending on where, what part of the Mississippi, it's like 3 or 4 miles from the Mississippi. And there's an offshoot of it called the Bayou Sarah. And that's really, it's like a little mini river. So the St. Francisville is located, it's overlooking the Bayou Sarah. And it was settled in 1773 under a land grant issued by the Spanish King Charles III to Spanish Franciscan friars. And they built a wooden monastery and they put a burial ground in that area. Now, this was at the time considered Western Florida because Florida was not just the state, it was the territory.
Mm-hmm.
So it expanded from from the panhandle all the way to Louisiana and a little bit beyond that. So this was considered Western Florida. The settlement grew around the cemetery in the monastery and became known as the Villa of St. Francis, and then in 1807, St. Francisville. This place, much like many places in the southwestern frontier, was a mix of French culture, Spanish culture, American colonization, and it's built its economy off the exploitation of African slaves. This was one of the most richest places in America in the early 1800s. Like, you had millionaires building mansions because of slavery. You had farms, you had plantations where you had you had people working for you. You'd have to pay them, and it was all profit. So you had a lot of rich people who lived here.
Yeah.
So the one who built the first, I guess, version of the Myrtle Plantation was a guy named David Bradford, and he called it Laurel Grove. David Bradford was born in the United States, and he lived in Pennsylvania, and he was an attorney, and he became Deputy Attorney General for the county in which he lived in Pennsylvania, Washington County. He married in 1785. He started a family, and he became heavily involved in the Whiskey Rebellion. Do everyone knows what the Whiskey Rebellion is? Okay.
It rings a bell.
Yes.
It rings
Right
a
after
bell.
the American Revolution, a lot of farmers were using excess grains to make whiskey with. And they were using it almost as a form of currency. They would sell it here and there. And this was on Western Pennsylvania. And the United States government, right after the fucking war, went, no, we're going to put a whiskey tax out. You can't use whiskey as like your own currency out there. And they went, fuck you, this is America, this is freedom. How dare you do this? I fought for this country. And that's exactly what happened. That became the Whiskey Rebellion. And David Bradford became a very big known guy in this, and he became known as Whiskey Dave. Like, even George Washington was like, get that motherfucker. Like, his name was on his desk. And in 1794, he fled to the south. He traveled down the Ohio River to the Mississippi. He settled near Bayou Sarah, which is now St. Francisville. He purchased 600 acres of land, and he built an 8-room house near Baton Rouge, and he called it Laurel Grove. His purchase included lands that were on the Tunica Indian burial grounds. He lived there alone till 1799 when he received a pardon from President John Adams from his involvement in the Whiskey Rebellion.
Adams.
After receiving the pardon, Bradford returned to PA to bring his wife and kids to Louisiana, and he supposedly was the first person to see a ghost on the land. He claimed to have seen a naked Indian girl wandering the grounds.
You know, that could have been just a real naked Indian girl wandering the grounds.
Could have been. Apparently, one
So
of
that's
the
what I was going to
Tunic-
ask you beforehand. I was
or
going to ask you if there was
Tunica.
any hauntings before it really became the Myrtles Plantation.
Well, allegedly, he saw a naked Indian girl,
Well,
and he bought part of his 600 acres was lands that included the Tunica Indian burial grounds.
If you're building on an Indian burial ground,
Yeah,
we've heard
wow.
stories before of that.
Oh
and
yeah,
that usually that land is either not cursed.
right.
right. But it's not
It
good.
isn't a good head start.
No,
let's
it's
put it that
not.
way.
So Bradford took in students who wanted to study the law, and one of them became his son-in-law. His name was Clark Woodruff. He married his daughter. Clark Woodruff married David's daughter, Sarah. So this is the first big legend of the Myrtles.
The Woodruff family.
The Woodruff family.
Okay.
He raised a family with Sarah. He had two daughters and a son. Clark was also a womanizer. He was getting it in anywhere he could.
That motherfucker liked pussy.
Oh yeah.
Yes, thank you for putting
One
layman's terms,
one
Winston.
slave that caught his eye was a slave girl named Chloe. He began to have an affair with her.
he was dipping into his own pool.
Yeah. He began to have an affair with Chloe, and he made her a house slave where she would cook.
Stash?
Well, he was shitting where you don't shit where you eat, but he did.
Shit where you eat. That's a better.
So he brought her, he made her a house slave instead of a field slave. Which I mean, you're talking Louisiana. They
For
don't have.
them, that's an upgrade.
It is when you think about it.
Why are
because-
you looking at me like it sounds bad?
No, but he's right, Wes. Like,
I know.
field work it was the worst thing. I mean, that's what all the slaves did was field work. But like, you're out there in the heat all day. There's no water breaks. There's no let me step 5 minutes in the air
All
conditioning.
I had was singing.
That's all they could do was sing and pick whatever the fuck they were supposed to be picking. So she got the upgrade in exchange for getting fucked by Clark Woodruff. So she,
That's such
being a house slave, she would cook food. She
not a
would
good way to put
clean stuff. She would
She
wash
probably
the
got
clothes.
it. Yeah.
It's definitely rape. It's definitely
Yeah,
rape.
if she wasn't getting fucked, she was
no.
He
getting
definitely
raped.
was getting raped.
Yeah, exactly. She helped raise the kids, and she, of course, being a house slave, she was more accessible to Clark. She was afraid of being sent back to the fields, so she started listening in and eavesdropping on family meetings. And one day, Clark caught her, and he punished her by cutting off an ear.
Oh.
And what she did next was either out of revenge or redemption or whatever.
But it was damn sure fucking good.
It was. So he cut her ear off, and for the rest of her life, she wore like a turban on her head to hide that scar.
Green turban.
Green turban. Chloe made a birthday cake for the daughter's birthday party, and she added oleander, which is a poison. Now, there's speculation saying that maybe she was doing it to kill these people, or maybe she was doing it to say, like, I'll make them sick and then I'll come up with a cure, and then they'll see how much they need me to stay in the house. We don't really know. But we do know that Sarah and the two daughters died. And Chloe ran to the slaves. And she was like, guys, this is what I did. I need your help. You got to get me the fuck out of here. And the slaves were afraid of being like co-conspirators. So they fucked her up and killed her and then threw her ass in the mighty Mississippi.
Yeah.
They hung her, they cut her down, weighed her body with rocks, tossed her into the fucking river. And then Clark sealed off the room, and it was never used again while he was living there. And to this day, the room where the children were poisoned was never again used for dining. It's now the game room in 2023.
Yep. Children were poisoned there, so we're going to make it a game room where children play. Good job, people.
Since her death, many people have thought to have seen Chloe. Footsteps have been heard walking the hallways. Some guests say that they're waking up to a black woman in a green turban lifting the nettings from around their beds, which would scare the shit out of me. 3 a.m. you wake up like, excuse me.
I was gonna say something, but I kept it to myself.
The little girls that were murdered have also been seen in the house. Reports of people seeing small children in mirrors and hearing their names being called from empty rooms. Other people have seen 2 girls in white dresses peeking through the windows, like from the outside. And when they go outside, like, hey, what's going on? They're not there, type of shit. So just, sightings of a little girl. And that's the Woodruff family. Now, on January 1st, 1834,
Wait,
Laurel...
there's more?
Oh, dude, it's... hold on to your fucking seat.
Yeah, because you're about to shit your socks, apparently.
January 1st, 1834, Laurel Grove was sold to a guy named Ruffin Gray Sterling and his wife, Mary Catherine Cobb. They had 9 fucking children because, they didn't have fucking Netflix back then. So...
Yeah, all you did is just pop kids and just hope one of them survived.
Yeah, they ate and fucked. That's all they did. Now, these people, the Sterlings, were already pretty big on the bayou. They had several other plantations, but they wanted to make Laurel Grove their home. So they bought everything. They bought the slaves, the house, the land, the buildings. They decided, this is ours, and we're going to remodel it. They added a central hallway, an entire southern section. The walls of the original house were removed and repositioned to create 4 bigger rooms. They made a separate, the gentlemen and ladies' parlors, a formal dining room, a game room, a 107-foot-long front gallery that was supported by cast iron postings and railings were added to the outside. A second story. The house, the second story was raised by a foot to give it a bit higher ceilings, and a new roof was added. The home was furnished with fine European imports, and it doubled the size of the original home. And they called it the Myrtles because there's a plant down there, the Myrtle somethings, and they named it after it because it grew there. But Ruffin only lived in the house for 4 years because he died. He died 4 years later of tuberculosis. Later that same year, his oldest son, Lewis, was stabbed to death over a gambling debt and died at the age of 23.
Sucks.
His wife, Mary, managed to run the Myrtles as well as the other plantations he had until the Civil War began and the decline of their fortune began. Now, during the Civil War, the Sterling family was pretty fucked. They got fucked over. Well, depends on how you look at it. The money that they had was worthless in Confederate currency, and both the Union and the Confederacy knew the importance of controlling the Mississippi. So they fought over that. And because the Myrtle Plantation, as well as others, were located on the Mississippi, or near enough to it, there were raids. They were fighting. And one night, 3 Union soldiers looted the Myrtle Plantation, destroyed some of the family's belongings, and 3 soldiers were killed in the attempted robbery, which left bloodstains on the floor, which to this day seem to have never been able to wipe away. After the Myrtles were open as an inn, a maid was mopping the floor when she reached the spot where the bloodstains were, and no matter how hard she tried, she was unable to clean it.
Yikes.
Supposedly, that's where one of the Union soldiers had fallen. Okay. Now, they're going to jump a little bit ahead after the war. They were able to keep their home. And Mary gave the Myrtles to her son-in-law. His name was William Drew Winter.
William Drew Winter.
That's right. Now, William married Sarah Sterling, and their child, Mary, died at typhus at age 3 in 1861.
That sucks.
Before she died, a voodoo priestess named Cleo was brought in to try and save the little girl. She stayed in the girl's room for days and prayed and cast spells and tried to save the little girl's life, but it didn't work. And out of the loss of his daughter, William had Cleo hung. She has reportedly been seen in the bedroom where she died.
Wait, he hung the baby?
No, he hung the voodoo priestess he brought in to save his daughter.
Oh, it's like, oh, you couldn't save my daughter.
Yeah.
Hang that bitch.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So both Cleo has been seen.
That's appropriate, I guess.
Maybe. And Kate has been seen. The bed that she died in is still in that bedroom. And some people have reported seeing the bed floating a few inches off the ground.
That's wild.
After the war, William was running the Myrtle Plantation. And in January of 1871,
This is the son, right?
this is the son-in-law, he was lured out back by a writer who asked to see him on the porch. And when he stepped outside, the guy shot him. William staggered back into the house. He passed through the gentleman's parlor and he climbed on the staircase in the central hallway. And he was trying to get to see his wife, Sarah, and he made it to the 17th step and died there, supposedly in Sarah's arms. Sarah was devastated. She never remarried. They found somebody who was arrested for shooting William, but it was undetermined if it was the actual shooter. So the case went unsolved. Reports have been said that at night you hear somebody walking up the steps, stopping at the 17th step. And it happens frequently. After August of 1880, which is when Mary died,
She died in the house.
in that house, there was a series of new owners. Over the next
Jeez,
years,
man, bodies in that house.
over the next 80 years, the ownership of the house changed 5 times. After Mary's death, the Myrtles were purchased by Stephen Sterling and one of her sons. He bought out his brothers, but only had it until 1886. It was too expensive, and he sold it to a guy named Orrin Brooks. He then sold it to someone named Harrison Williams during a storm. Harrison's oldest son drowned in the Mississippi. Harrison turned over the management to one of his sons. And then in 1927, murder visited the Myrtles again when a caretaker of the house was supposedly killed during a robbery. In the 1950s, the property surrounding this house had been divided amongst heirs, and the house itself was sold to someone named Marjorie Munson, an Oklahoma widow who had been made wealthy by chicken farms.
Oklahoma is a place.
It was at this point the ghost stories started.
In the 50s?
In the 50s. After purchasing the house, Munson heard...
1950s?
Yes. After purchasing the house, Munson heard some of the local stories, and she began to do some research into the house she bought. And she even wrote a song, but I couldn't find the lyrics or a recording of it, telling the tale of the Woodruff murders. And in the 1970s, the house was restored under the ownership of Arlen Deese and Mr. and Mrs. Robert F. Ward. And then it was purchased by James and Frances Kermeen Myers. Now, Frances Kermeen actually wrote a book about the Myrtles, which I'm like, I would like to read it, but it's kind of biased. You own the fucking place instead of doing like independent research, but still. They purchased...
she's there.
Yeah, they purchased the Myrtles while traveling. And Frances has documented her encounters with ghosts, and she was one of the first ones who kind of did that regularly. These random footsteps, these include footsteps on the stairs, lights going on and on, the sounds of kids crying, rattling doorknobs, and a feeling of being not alone when you were alone. She also said that a black woman in a green turban came towards her, and she reached her hand out, and the hand went through the woman. During her time as owner, she heard thousands of reports from guests, most like her own experiences, and the 9 ghosts that she's reportedly seen the 9 ghosts reported: the naked native girl, Chloe, the 2 Woodruff daughters, the 3 Union soldiers, William D. Winter, and Kate Winter. And then there's other things that happen, like the grand piano on the first floor plays itself. And it usually plays the same chord over and over
That
again.
happens in a lot of haunted places that have grand pianos.
Yep.
They just decide to play themselves. That's terrifying.
There was
Very terrifying.
There was a TV miniseries shot there called The Long Hot Summer. One day the crew moved the furniture into the game room, and they left. When they returned, all of the furniture had been moved back to the original positions, despite no one being inside the room and being warded off from any visitors. This happened several times where they would move something, leave, and come back and find that thing back where, it was, where they moved it from. There's a
Ghosts
great.
don't like change.
No, they don't. Here's one. The Ruffin Sterling room was a child's nursery. A lot of the guests have heard children crying or babies crying. One night, a group of 4 women who were nurses booked 4 rooms, and the Ruffin Sterling room was one of them. But one woman backed out and she didn't go. So there was 3 women there, and that room was empty. So they heard a child crying, and being nurses, they went and see what was going on. And when they knocked on the door, they said a lady answered and told them to go away. But the kid was crying and they was upset. So when they went in to check out what was going on, nobody was there. So they spoke to the owner and they're like, yeah, well, we've heard people crying in that room. Other things have happened where like lipstick has gone missing, or gets broken, stuff like that. And also it's the same room that Clark Woodruff would take slaves to rape while, it was his spot. While everyone was out doing something else, he made that his little rape room. And lastly, the mirror in the central hallway has, right outside the dining room, visitors report seeing children appearing in the mirror, handprints, smudges on the mirror, and no matter how often they clean the mirror or replace the mirror, the handprints come back. It's almost as if the handprints are coming from the inside of the mirror rather than someone putting their hand to the mirror from the outside. And there are many pictures online of people who have taken photos of this mirror, and you see handprints.
Okay.
So that is a lot of terrifying shit and history of the Myrtles Plantation.
All right, so we're going to take a short little break. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about, I would like to talk about any ghost hunts that have been there. I do have some EVP recordings from a couple ghost hunts that were there, and I want to get our take on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go through the photos that Anthony had that he wanted us to see for this. And so please come back and listen. I know that was a long-winded opening, but we're getting this is a lot of history with the Myrtles Plantation. So we just need to get that history down so you know what the fuck happened.
Oh, I'm not done,
Still
but
happening.
Yeah,
it's still happening. Yeah.
And
I'm not done, so we'll touch on that a little bit later.
So we'll be right back. Please just listen to a word from our sponsors.
This October, get ready to be spooked. Spooky new episodes of Is This Real drop every Sunday in October.
Hey everybody, we're just letting you know that we have new merch in our store. Go to greenhourmediastore.myspreadshop.com, greenhourmedia.org, or the link in the bio for our first ever logo drop. The Cryptid Collection is here. Get your favorite cryptids such as Bigfoot, Mothman, Nessie, the Yeti, or the Jersey Devil on t-shirts, hats, or mugs. You can also get all of our podcast logos on various items as well. Remember, that's greenhourmediastore.myspreadshop.com, greenhourmedia.org, or the link in the bio. New episodes of Is This Real drop Sundays at 8. Question everything.
Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real podcast and our parent company Green Hour Media, then visit greenhourmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenhourmedia.org.
And welcome back. So, as we continue this episode on the Myrtles Plantation, our episode is brought to you by Dubby. Go to w.gg, punch the code IsThisRealPC, all one word, to get 10% off all your Dubby products. New Dubby products come out every day, and if you're like us in the booth, we haven't had our Dubby today. Wes is passing out. I'm over here about to sleep. Anthony, did you take your Dubby today?
I did.
All right, Anthony took his Dubby. Dad, you didn't take your Dubby? No, he's falling asleep. That's why. All the time with you and the fucking mic.
Eat my ass.
Just leave it alone.
Eat my ass.
Dad,
Now
did you
we're reduced to ass eating?
did you take your Dubby today?
No, I have not. No W for me today. I didn't even take my blood pressure pills, and you would think today I would take them.
Mm-hmm. All right, so as we continue this Myrtle Plantation episode in our second episode of Halloween, our spoopy time episodes, Anthony went through the whole history.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least most of the history up to a certain point. I think the 50s he stopped.
No. I mean, today it's pretty much. I'm pretty much caught up.
So we have pictures, which I don't even think you gave to Dad or anybody.
No, I don't think I did.
So I don't know, Dad. Do you have pictures if you want to search it up?
I have a couple of pictures here. I mean, nothing of. I got a picture of the mirror. I have a picture of what they think to be Chloe or Chloe. Is that a name?
Chloe, yeah.
Chloe.
The picture was taken actually as an attempt to get insurance on the property.
Yes.
And they noticed that there's a figure standing relatively on the porch, but relatively close to one of the pillars.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, from this angle, I mean, sure, it does look like it looks transparent, and it does look like a black woman. But again, and I've got it in black.
I mean,
and
you
white.
really have to zoom in for that, like.
Yeah, I'm trying to, and I can't find a picture to get me closer to that. But I mean, of all appearances, now the mirror itself is a pretty creepy object. It looks like it's got.
Well, let's
stuff
let's focus on the one on the porch real quick,
All right.
because obviously it is black and white, and if you look at, if you're looking at it, and West, I know you're asleep, so I'm not even. You're seeing this picture, and from the actual the building itself, you see the
The column.
Yeah, well, no, not the column. I'm talking about behind her.
Clapboards.
Yeah, you see them, and you see them continue through her body.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
transparent. Yeah.
And I don't know if you can tell what type of wardrobe she's wearing.
Well, I mean, it looks like there's definitely a head, and it looks like there's a torso, and it looks like
An arm.
Yeah, it does. I don't see legs. I'm looking. I mean, again, this is
Well, it's a little darker.
It is.
From if you say where the pelvic area is, where the white,
where her waist is going down.
that's where it goes
It
from
gets darker.
those white boards to that looks like brick.
Right. But it looks to me like she's wearing a dress, and she's got something on her head concealing her hair, because I don't see hair. I see like a head, a torso, and then from the waist down, I don't see legs. But I mean, it does look like there's a dress, because
A dress, yeah.
Because
It
if you
looks
notice,
fabric-y.
if you notice the lines of the building go up until her from the waist down, and then they stop. You can't see the lines of the building through her from the waist down.
From the waist down, yeah.
From
You
the
see it
waist
from the
up,
waist
yeah,
up, you
yeah,
do.
and it looks like she's not exactly like crossing her arms across her chest.
It's like down here.
Yeah, it's like she's carrying something low across her stomach.
Yeah.
And then you have her head, which is like everything's proportional, right? Proportionate to what a person would be. But you would think like I would see hair, or no, I don't see hair. I see something.
If it's Chloe, you're not going to see hair, because purportedly the ghost is actually a ghost of that she has the green turban on her head.
Correct, exactly. So
It looks like something that's covering up her hair.
it fits the stories.
Right.
So like it's from what people have said that they've seen a black slave wearing antebellum clothes with a turban on her head. This is what you're gonna have. And this is one of the pictures that have been taken on the Myrtle Plantation that has made its rounds.
Yeah.
And people have shit their pants because they think this shit is legitimate. Like, it's one of the best evidence of ghosts out there.
True.
Well, it is creepy in its own right because, like I said, what gets me is the transparency of it.
Right.
I'm trying to find something where somebody would have taken it and enlarged it, but I can't seem to come up with anything like that. So, I guess this is all we have to work with at this point.
I mean, yeah, if you do look at it, like, you can zoom in. Like, me and Anthony have zoomed in on the computer.
Yeah, you can zoom in on the computer.
The problem is that it's very, again, it's an old photo.
It's an older picture.
So
and
it's very
definitely not in high def.
grainy.
Yeah, there's grain to it when you zoom in too much. It gets pixelated.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go over to the mirror photo, at least the one mirror photo I have, there's probably dozens of mirror photos out there.
See, that's one of the things I love about this place is because it is still in operation today, you have people who visit it who take their own pictures. I know Taps went there a number of years ago. You have other ghost hunters and writers and podcasters who visit the Myrtle Plantation for their experience. So everybody's got eyes. Everyone takes pictures. So you do have a lot of evidence on out there of the Myrtle Plantation.
See, for this one though, like, I could see, like, okay, you see the 4 things like that look like fingers over here.
Yeah, the top.
I could see that to look like fingers. The rest of it just looks like smudge.
It does, but
it doesn't look like a handprint to me.
Right. Well, that's the creepy thing about. I mean, this is only one photograph, but that's one of the creepy things about this is the fact that,
like, I don't see a thumb.
No, I know that, but like a lot of these handprints on the mirror, it's there regardless of whether or not they clean the mirror up or not.
Well, has anybody taken the mirror apart?
Yes, the glass of the mirror has been replaced a few times depending on the owner, and every time the smudges come back. And the smudges, it seem, look like they're coming from the inside of the mirror.
My question is it a consistent same smudge?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Because, like, I could see that being creepy if it's the same exact shape, the same exact smudge all the time coming back, regardless of if you change the mirror, if you change the backing of the mirror, all that. Like, if it's like different handprints that show up, people fucking walk by it all the time. When you have visitors that will sit there, we all know how kids act and teenagers. Look, I'm touching the mirror. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Shit like that, and then boom, a smudge pops. People are like, holy shit, look, it's a handprint. I can sit there and see that. Now, again, I'm not saying it's not real. It could be real. To me, this photo particularly that we have here, it doesn't. To me, it looks more like a bear print than it does a paw, like a human print.
Okay. Now, I have a picture here. It's on Pinterest, whatever it's called.
Pinterest.
And they actually have a picture of this thing. And they're coming from this side, and the mirror is here. But yet, at the bottom of the staircase, there's a shadow.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same one too.
It's weird.
Joey doesn't have this picture. I didn't send this to you. I found this online today. So you and I found the same picture independent of each other. This is another one of those creepy ones because it's first of all, when you're looking into the mirror, it's dark. Right? So you could look at this and go, well, maybe there's somebody standing between the banister of the railing and that door frame, which is why you see the banister.
Yeah.
Because it does, but who knows? Like, we don't know the story. That's the thing about a lot of these places. Like, some of them, like Pinterest, is a board where you find a picture somewhere and you repost it. We don't know the story behind this photograph. Right. So I don't know the authenticity of it. I don't know what's like. Was a person alone in the house when they took this picture? Mm-hmm. There's so many questions you can ask. We just don't know. But it's nonetheless, it's creepy. I'll say that. In fact, it's called a creepy picture.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm looking at it now, from not looking into the mirror, but looking across where that figure is, and there's actually a door frame there. Now, it could have been somebody in there with bad lighting,
Yeah.
You know, there's really no. I mean, I'm
looking at the photo right now. If you're looking at it right now, you're like, what I think fucks it up about the photo. If you're gonna sit there and say it looks like the banister, I think if you look at the way the banister's coming down the stairs, the railing, it stops like at the torso of this quote unquote person.
Yeah, and you don't see much else.
And you can barely see the rest of the banister down here.
Yeah.
Right.
But you could definitely see it's being blocked out by something.
Sure.
Like if you're gonna sit there and say if I'm gonna do this, banister's coming down here, and this little you see on the right side, Dan, like you see the head, and on the right side, if you follow the banister down, you get the railing down, you get the banister on the right side right there.
Mm-hmm.
That could be someone standing in front of it, but it's see-through, and you see the banister on the other side.
Could be.
So you could sit there and say like, that could be it right there, where that's transparent.
Transparent.
Well, it would have to be if this is a ghost, it would have to be standing. Well, it didn't matter either way. But if it was standing in front of it and it
now,
was
if it was a
transparent-
vampire, you wouldn't see it in the mirror.
Huh?
If it was a vampire, you wouldn't see it in the
Well,
mirror.
the point I'm
smack
not
you.
a vampire, but I mean, to me, it's really strange. It's a creepy photo. I mean, you got to say that.
No,
much.
it is. It is. I'm not going to sit there and say it's not.
Now,
It's
Dad,
a very, very creepy photo.
it is. Now, Dad, I'm going to give you something to Google real quick because this is the only way to find it the fastest. Ready? Type in 973 the dog, DAWG, and Google
Shout out the dog.
the dog 97.3, and then type in Myrtle Kate.
Myrtle what?
Kate, Kate. So 973 the dog, and then Myrtles Kate. Dad's thing is loading now. This is now the story on this is a nurse was touring the Myrtle Plantation and she snapped a picture, and lo and behold, somebody showed up in the picture that shouldn't fucking be there. Now this is
It
apparently
happens all the time.
the daughter of William Drew Winter, the one who was shot and killed he died on the 17th step. This would be his daughter Kate Winter, who died of typhoid fever at the age of 3.
Oh,
Did
so
it-
it is a baby.
Yeah, I guess so. Did it load up?
It's loading slowly, but it's loading.
See, I didn't even know that.
So you want to scroll down to almost the bottom of the page, maybe a little bit before halfway. Excuse me.
You're gonna see a giant chandelier.
Which that chandelier weighs 300 pounds. Like, you talk about spare no expense. When they redid the Myrtles, they did it the right way. Everything was imported from Europe. It was expensive.
Do we import from France?
Yeah, they spent fucking money.
Because I know for some reason the South loved the French.
Well, a lot of people
The
from
French
France.
style.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of people from France who settled in there, who settled in the South. And did you break it? Yep, now it did.
Now it did. No, we're just gonna continue this. All right. So, if you're looking on here,
Dear God.
did it load?
Yeah.
Oh,
All
you
right,
just-
so scroll down, look at the picture, tell me what you think.
All right. Now, what's the picture of now? So I know.
Okay, so if you're scrolling down this page, you're gonna see a wide shot of the chandelier and a window, a mirror and a fireplace, and below the fireplace is like a table, a couple of chairs. If you keep
Is there
scrolling,
people in this photo?
yeah, there's people in the mirror.
Right.
But if you keep scrolling, the website does it for you. It zooms in closer and closer, and it catches the face of a little girl standing there watching everybody.
Do you see it?
On the top left.
Yes. Now just keep going through the website, and you'll see the enhanced photos.
Yeah. See, like I can enhance this photo.
Oh my
myself.
fucking Christ!
Yeah, there he goes.
There
He
you go.
sees it.
We got it. He's there. Good morning, West. How are you, darling?
Yeah. See, the weird part about it is like the kid would have to be like, look, okay. Yes, I know it's creepy. It's fucking creepy.
It's not only that. You need to see what I'm seeing.
Okay, I'm coming.
What are we seeing that he's seeing?
Okay, this is the video. Right now, I don't see anybody pick this up. That's the girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now look down. What's that?
That's like could also be another phase, or it could be a sconce.
What's a sconce?
Sconce.
No, that looks like a demon child looking at somebody.
A demon. Now we're at demon children.
And there's other things in here that look, I mean, it could be pixelization, but I see another face there, another face there.
So
What
you're
the
looking
hell?
for faces now.
That looks like a fucking face.
Well,
Anyway,
below
go ahead.
you'll see the thing about this is like the kid would have to be like 7 feet tall.
Right.
Because look, when you look at the wide picture, obviously it's zoomed in a mirror and it's at an angle, but like the kid's head would be close to like near the 6.5 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
So it's strange, absolutely strange. It is
That's definitely
creepy.
something.
Yes, I would say that's definitely something. The thing underneath it that you're looking at reminds me of Zool from Ghostbusters. Because on like he means something. He's
That
looking at
looks
this.
even worse.
See, yeah, like the face itself has like it looks flesh colored,
Whatever.
but the face below it that you think you see, the little girl looks like she's looking at the people.
Right.
The face below it looks like it's looking at the photographer.
Right.
The face below, if it is a face, that has a gray skin tone to it. So it doesn't look human.
See, the funny part is, like, if you really, like, I really enhanced this bitch.
Joe, yeah, you did. I'm looking at what you're doing.
And you can clearly see it. Like, it looks as clear as day as the people
as
in
the
video.
people, yeah, as the people standing there.
Like, that's the fucked up part. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not looking at the photo of the to me, it looks like...
It looks like there's two different, maybe even three different ghosts in this photo.
Well, I mean, if you look behind... go up, man. If you look behind, it looks like a face is behind it.
If you look at the negative space next to the little
Yeah.
girl's head, it looks like there's two eyes and a mouth and a forehead. It looks like someone's forehead, the ridge, what do you call it, this area?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like you're making a face out of the negative space. I don't know. Like the one that we do know, the one that like this obviously the dog is reporting on is the little girl, which is Kate Winter. So that's like the obvious one. Everything
Yeah.
else is completely up for debate. We don't know. I mean, it's all scary. It's all weird. It's all what the fuck, man.
No, I agree. It is pretty fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's really creepy.
Yep.
But like I said, if I'm gonna look at it, like obviously I think the face, if you look at it, does look like the little girl.
Yeah. Now on the dog's website, it does say that this was quoted. I forget who they didn't. Is it haunted? Below Kate, and it does say that she's floating around the room because a 3-year-old would be like close to the floor. But someone said your photo of Kate is amazing. Kate is standing in the doorway between the gentleman's parlor and the card room. This is striking because Kate's portrait hangs behind her in the card room. So not only is this ghost appearing, but it's also appearing near her portrait. So yeah, I mean, I got a little goosebumps.
I'm looking more at the photo.
Now you're looking down at the demon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a demon. Like it doesn't look like a demon.
Could be
to
a
me.
very ornate sconce, like with the design.
No, I mean, the
Could
way
be
I'm
a
looking at
person too standing here in the room.
Yeah.
No, like okay, so I could see Dad. Like okay, so this definitely looks like a face right here.
Sure, it looks like it's obscured.
Yeah,
it's like
like-
it's poking behind something.
Yeah, and then you have it looks like Beetlejuice hair.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like the Zool from Ghostbusters, like sticking straight up.
This right here looks like a face also.
Yeah, it looks like it's looking the opposite way.
Looks like straight across.
But
Exactly.
they look like you would like almost like in Beetlejuice or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like look, you have the eyes here. This looks like a profile side.
Yes,
the
now
eyes
listen-
right here.
Hold on one second.
Nose.
I think we should make this clear. For those of you listening in podcast land, you can't see these photos, obviously.
no,
Go to
no.
YouTube, they'll be a part of the video.
Yeah, no. I'm literally re-editing the photos so I can clear them up a little bit.
That's
Yes.
just messed
Because
up.
Anthony even agrees, like when I clarified the one photo, the big photo, you do see it a lot, like the baby in the photo looks more clear,
Yes.
like an actual human being standing there. Like that's the fucked up part. Now everything else, like especially the one in the back, it does like these look like that looks like a demon. The negative space in the back looks like a demon.
It's negative space, though. You know what I mean?
I'm not even drawn to that, but when I do draw to, when I do look at it,
It looks creepy. You see the eye socket there, like the twisted head.
I can see. I don't see eyes or anything like that. It just looks. It looks.
That's the only photos we got. I mean, we have one more, right?
We have one more that's going to get you, Dad. Now, listen to me very carefully, step by step it. All I want you to do is go to Google and type in Myrtles selfie. Myrtles selfie. The very first hit you're going to get is, it should be Facebook. And I want you to click on that. You'll see 6 white women.
Where are the white women at?
You're going to see 6 white women in the photo.
Ridiculous.
This is the picture. So the story behind this is these women decided to tour the plantation. They took a selfie on the porch because, you know, a bunch of white women on a plantation is like, we need to capture this moment. Just seems appropriate. I don't know why. And there's 6 women in the photo.
You know, I let that slide before. I'm not going to let it slide again.
There's 6 women in the photo, but that's not
Keep talking your
true.
shit, Anthony. Keep talking your shit, Anthony. Fuck what he says.
That's actually not true. There's 7 supposed women in the photo.
Oh yeah, it looks like. Holy fuck!
Yep, he just shit himself.
There we go. He sees it. In the top right corner, and again,
my god!
this was posted by
Yeah.
This was posted by the Myrtles Plantation, so we know it's not like some asshole just like, oh look, you Photoshop it. This is by them,
and it's posted also by it was commented by a podcast that Dad. I think they're containing a podcast now. Coast to Coast talked about this.
Yes, Coast to Coast did talk
They're
about
not
this.
a podcast or a radio show.
Yeah, same shit.
So right in the corner, like, and it's picture perfect. Like, look at the rest of this. Like, of all the
It
negative
looks
space,
like she's got a turban on too.
it does. But like, of all the negative space around this photo, like, there happens to be that sliver right there between the one with glasses and the one blonde. Like, you couldn't put it any perfect.
And the most fucked up part about it is if you zoom out of this, like if you zoom out
Yeah.
and you go to the left side and you see the one sliver of negative space that's over there, there is an actual pattern on the windows and
Yes.
it's a cross.
Yeah.
And you
it's
see
French
the
cross.
pattern on her head.
Yes. See, it's called the French cross, and that was put there purposely. I think it
Fucking
was
hell,
the
photos up
Sterling
there.
family. When they renovated, they put the French cross pattern all over the front door windows because they wanted to ward off evil spirits. Well, it didn't fucking work.
Well, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
There's been no reports of them doing anything
To harm anyone?
to harm anybody.
Okay, well,
So
whatever.
I'm all for people like, no, fuck that, ghosts are ghosts, get them out. Look, I don't care about ghosts being ghosts. Like if the ghost is gonna be there, it's gonna be there. There's nothing I can do to stop it.
That's true.
I
See,
don't know about you, but that makes it great. That photo,
yeah.
just the picture of that woman, that would be a great album cover.
Oh, sure. Like the picture is like, and you can tell like there's no life in that face. Like that is definitely a face. That is the face of what looks like to be an African American woman with something on her head. And you could definitely see nose. You could definitely see a mouth. You could
Definitely
see
see eyes.
cheeks.
You can see the two different colors.
You could
between
see
them.
the dark area where eyes should be, but it looks like her eyes are closed.
No, I see them
No, I see
open
them.
a little bit.
Yeah, I see.
The right eye, well, the left eye.
I
If you're
see
looking
the
at
eyes
the
open.
photo.
Where I'm,
If you're looking at her mouth, you can see the two different colors of her lips.
Yeah. Like there's a top lip and a bottom lip. Like you could definitely look at this photo and go, that is someone looking out the window. But then when you look at it for more than a second, you're like, that is not looking out the window. That is part of the window.
Yeah.
Like you would think it's part of the design of the window.
if
It's
you're
not.
of all the photos that I've seen so far over the years of this place, and believe it or not, I've never seen this one or the previous one. This one right here, if I'm going to try to show evidence, this is going to be the one I'm going to use.
Well, you know what the funny part is?
Amazing.
These two photos, and I'll go over the audio in the third.
the third part. Yeah, because I have some too.
These two photos, in my opinion, match right up against with the fucking the one in
In Amityville?
in Amityville.
Yeah. I agree.
You're talking about the little kid on the top of the steps.
Yes.
Okay.
They match up well with that.
I have an issue with that photo. I'm trying. Yeah, on the surface, it does look like that is a kid. But if you look closely, those eyes aren't glowing. They're glasses. That kid is wearing glasses. How many ghosts wear glasses? I mean,
Well, you can make the argument how many ghosts are wearing a green turban.
True.
You know what I mean? It's like if it's part of the person when they were alive and they needed it.
But these glasses
I mean, the
are
ghost
reflecting light.
Which would mean that it was something there.
Yeah, which
Well,
means that
no. I mean, you could
person
sit there. First of all, if you're talking about, especially because that photo was taken at night, right?
Yeah, that was taken at night.
And you're taking with a flash.
And during a seance.
And during a seance. If you're going to sit there and say ghosts can, like, especially during a seance when there's energy in the air, the ghosts can sit there, and if they can block out light, if they can cast a shadow,
I guess.
Yeah, who knows?
They can also reflect light.
I guess, maybe. I don't know. I didn't write the rules.
If they can sit there, if we're sitting here really talking about the, what can and cannot a ghost can do, like
That's not the way to say that sentence, but I get you.
What?
See, this right here is more to me than what that photo of in Amityville is, and only because this backs up the story. This backs up the African American woman, turban on her head.
Amityville, you had the little brother that died.
Right, but there was never any reports of any sightings of that kid or the other kids that were killed. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, well, we saw the one little kid running around. There was never any sightings of the two boys and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe,
Right. But there's reports in Myrtles of a black slave in antebellum clothing.
Well, that's two photos of her if you consider
if it's
person.
her.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So we're gonna take another short little break. You can hear from another spot or other sponsors, upcoming things we have. We're gonna be right out of this break. When we come back, we're gonna listen to a couple EVP recordings I have from Myrtle Plantation. Anthony has something else, and we're gonna end this episode. So please be right back with us. Hey everybody, I'm JC3.
And I'm Mr. West.
And this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented Neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What's that?
No calories, no sugars, no fillers, and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA-registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to dubby.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade's right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby
and be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you liked this video today, please click the like and subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification icon to keep up with all our videos.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember, everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout.
At adamandeve.com.
And we are back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Anthony, please tell us who's our sponsor today.
BetterHelp.com. If you are in need of needing to talk to somebody due to issues that are happening in your life, personal issues, work issues, relationship issues, sexual issues, parents issues, whatever it might be, family issues, BetterHelp.com is the place you want to go because they're going to hook you up with a therapist or a counselor who is who's going to specialize in whatever area you need. So what you want to do is you want to head over to betterhelp.com/question, QUESTION, and you want to sign up using that link and that link only. Because when you sign up using that link, you're going to save some money. That's our link. You can only get it when listening to our podcast. And you're going to save some money, and they're going to hook you up with a professional who's going to help you in your area that you need help in. And it's the best thing in the world because I think everyone should be in therapy, and it's certainly not wrong to be talking to somebody and talk your problems through. BetterHelp.com/question. Go there and get some help.
All right,
now I'm putting my cans on because Joey's got EVPs.
Yeah, Dad, just use those. He's obviously not going to use.
I got no choice.
Dad, use those.
West's.
He's not going to use them. He's in La La Land.
Now, Joey, before we start these, what are EVPs?
EVPs are electronic voice phenomenons. They consist of you'll be doing a regular recording. Like we could catch an EVP just sitting here doing this.
That's true.
Like if there was a noise loud enough where people hear it in the background, we're not going to hear it through live. I mean, sometimes you can, but most of the time you're not going to hear it through live, like in the moment. You're going to hear it on a playback. You always want to record. You always want to hear something that you didn't hear with the natural ear.
Correct.
And there's been a lot of recording.
Spirit box.
Well, spirit box are different. That's not and that's not EVP.
They're fun to listen to.
Spirit boxes are something different.
Especially at his house.
So
isn't a spirit box what a
Shut up. Exactly. He couldn't get the funny part out.
It's what the ghost of a hooker uses to keep herself in business.
Yes. Okay. All right. So these are supposed EVPs from this one paranormal group. They did an investigation there.
Can you do an investigate? Will they let you do that?
Yeah, they will. If you
money is green.
Yeah, if the money is green, and
listen, it's not a plantation anymore. They're not growing.
Well, it depends.
Shit.
Like if you're
it's
there,
just a haunted house.
It's you can go stay there. It's a hotel.
Taps did it, and remember, I think
thank you.
I think that was the episode where they had left something recording. They put the camera down and they forgot to shut it off. And they noticed that the lamp on the side of the bed, on the bedside table, was moving. It moved like from the middle of the table to the end of the table over the course of like an hour and a half. Like it was moving so slow.
Yes, I do remember that one.
And talking about like a couple of assholes was like, wait, what is that? Like, because that happened over time, how slow it was moving.
Well, that's one thing about investigating. You have to sit there and watch all the hours of footage.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't have the patience for that.
All right, so these are a couple EVP recordings. Now it's only 2 minutes 27 seconds, but there's a couple of them.
And mind you, before you play it, who did this? Let's give them credit.
These are from Baltimore paranormal investigators.
Okay,
they're a very, very, very small paranormal company, but from ones I heard, like they'll go through it a couple times.
Yeah,
and then they'll play it backwards.
Okay.
So we'll hear it. Let's see what our takes on these are. Just listening. So.
Also, this is the kids' nursery, right? Also, This was the kids' nursery, right?
All right, so what did you think you heard there? It was very quick.
I heard something like in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a crackle or something.
Yeah, so there's like a whisper in the back.
Okay.
So I believe they go over it one more time.
This was the kids' nursery, right?
Apparently they say
It's kind of like
it's in the captain's room. If you want to go over it one more time and listen to it.
Nursery, right? There's also. This was the
just
kids.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah, captains. It could be
It's the
captain.
I heard
captain's room.
captain. I heard
Now, through your history, do you hear anything about a captain there?
Captain, no, but I know that like it's not captain, but it'd be like judge. Like a judge would be
Judge. Yeah, judge. The guy who actually,
Woodruff.
Chloe. Yes, he was a judge.
Right. So I guess maybe it could have been called captain. I don't know. I'll do some research real
Because
quick.
like if again, I love to especially with EVPs, I love to back history with like what if this ghost is saying anything.
Sure.
Because if it's like in the captain's room, like there's nobody ever fucking named captain here, so what the fuck are you talking about? Then it's like
what could it have been?
None.
Yeah, what is it trying to say? Is it something there, you know? So you had that one.
Yeah.
And I'll go over to
All
the
right,
next one.
it's called the captain's quarters. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. That's not correct.
Okay. So we're gonna go to the next one real quick, all right?
Nursery, right?
It's the captain's room this once again. They slowed it down.
I don't know where the keys went. So.
That's the next one.
So.
What do you think that one said?
Again, I just hear whispering.
Dad?
I just hear so. I didn't hear any whispering.
All right, listen again. This is the captain's room one again.
I don't know where the keys went. So.
Is that what you're saying? So?
No, that's the guy. It's the voice behind it. It sounds like a woman.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a woman whispering.
Like, if you just hear it very slowly.
So.
Yeah.
They're saying let them go. If you hear it that way.
We'd have to have better recording of it, but yeah, there is definitely something there.
That's the captain's room again. Listen one more time.
I don't know where the keys went. So.
Could be.
Yeah. So
it could be. That's the way I'm saying.
In between her talking, he says so. So you hear let them so and then go.
Okay.
You know.
I do get that.
So that's what you have there, and that apparently that is a woman saying let them go. They think it's Chloe that was saying that. This is another one.
Is it this one right here?
It's not me.
They said they think they hear mommy.
Oh, okay. I keep hearing it's not me.
Did you hear that, Dad?
No,
Let's play it again.
not at all.
Is it this one right here?
I hear something in the back. Sounds like a duck.
A duck. No. I heard mommy.
I keep hearing not me.
We can do it again, but can you up mine a little bit?
I mean, there's nothing I can do. It's like
No.
I can do it just a little bit more.
Is it this one right here?
Yes. Mommy.
You're hearing mommy? I can't hear mommy. I keep hearing not me.
I hear the me part. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
Before that.
That's why I'm hearing, that's why I'm not hearing ma. I'm hearing not,
Yeah,
not
you
me.
gotta up these a little bit. I mean, you did it. That was good because these are very low.
All right, here's another one.
So wise.
They said they hear my sister.
My sis, I hear so wise.
All right, hold on. As I just need to get to the point. Why sister?
I don't hear anything about
Why
wise.
sister?
I don't hear sister at all. I hear wise. So wise or you're wise or something
What'd
like
you
that.
hear, Dad?
That's why I hear something about wise.
I heard why sister. Like if you listen,
I tried again.
if you listen to it again, like he's talking, you'll hear why sister.
All right, like play it.
All right, I hear why, but then it's too like it's almost
a whistle.
A whistle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I make out of that one.
You don't hear sister at the end
No,
of that?
I'm hearing a whistle. I'm hearing a whistle.
I heard sister. I mean, here's another one right here.
Yeah, my God, somebody's definitely talking in the back.
I hear shut up.
I did. I heard shut up also. Let's see what they heard. See, they think they hear shotgun.
Maybe.
What? So.
Shotgun.
By the fireplace.
Here's another one.
By the fireplace.
What do you think you heard there?
I'm hearing something with a T in it.
They thought they heard talk to you.
Okay.
So let's hear it one more time.
By the fireplace.
Could be.
I'll tell you what I think I'm really hearing, but I can't really repeat it.
What?
Let me tongue you down.
No, I keep hearing somebody anal.
That's right. It turns out the ghost was actually in the anal. Chloe was a slave. She wasn't being raped. She just liked it in the butt.
That's what it sounds like to me.
All right, there is a couple more.
Let's speed through this.
This is outside.
Frying something.
I hear someone walking on gravel.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. They think they heard you're crazy.
This is Chloe.
Do you want a video?
This is Chloe.
Do you want a video? Do you want a video?
Yeah, somebody's saying something under that word.
Yeah, they think they heard she comes to you. She comes to you? She comes to you? Like under the guy talking. Listen.
Yeah, it gets here when you slow it down and you modulate it, sure.
Yeah. So those are all the audio recordings we got from there. So from this particular, granted, that is one particular
group who's
done it. There's been hundreds of groups that gone there, and we don't know what the recordings are.
Please don't sue us.
I think if they hear something, people are gonna be like, "What is that video? Let's go to that." Like,
all creds belong to them.
Yeah, it's not us.
We're not stealing it. We did not do that ourselves. We're borrowing it from you guys because you guys did it, and that's amazing evidence. You guys rock.
Yes,
I've seen a couple of your things. You're really awesome.
All right, so Anthony, you have something on the captain?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't have anything on the captain. I don't know what that was. Like, here's the problem with EVPs. There's so much potential for other sources. Like, it's one thing, it's like, I am alone in this room. Everyone else is on the other side of the house. You could document that in a way, and you could sit there by yourself, and then you hear something, and you're silent. That's one thing. When you're talking and you're catching something maybe underneath you speaking, it could be something else. There's so much pollution that you have no idea what it is.
You're right. It's hard too, because I do believe in EVP recordings. I do believe, like, if you do hear something, especially that's out of the ordinary, and you have it like to the point where it's like, okay, we have video, right? We have the video, and this is what's happening right here. Like, and in that same instance of the recorded video that you see, like, we're doing this right here, right?
Sure.
If someone hears something under our voice that doesn't sound like any of us in here, that it adds to the authenticity of that recording, because if there's a little girl that you hear in one of our episodes, there's no little girls in this fucking booth.
No, I know that. I get that, and I agree with you. But I'm talking about, like, there's so much potential, and like when someone is doing ghost hunting and stuff like that, to catch something that you didn't mean to catch, but you have no idea what it is.
I mean, I think that's the thing with ghost hunting in general. Like, there's always that aspect of, you don't really know what it is, and that's why there's not a lot of, like the science community's not behind it. as much as people want them to be, because it's like you don't know if that's really like that could be a camera malfunction, or that could be it's just a smudge on a mirror.
Correct.
That's just it's an old photo. You don't know what that is.
Exactly.
So like there's so many things that can be an outlier for people saying like, okay, this is a ghost. And they're like, is it though?
Yeah, no. Well, that's the whole thing with all of this stuff.
Yeah. But yes, do you want to knock our hopes down with the quote unquote truth, Anthony?
Yes, I do, because the Myrtles is interesting. There's a lot of spooky shit that's happening, but I couldn't just let the legends be legends. I had to dig deeper, and here's what I'm considering the truth. You ready for this, Dad?
Go ahead.
On the topic of the Tunica, the Native American burial grounds.
Mm-hmm.
The Tunica grave site would contain over 100 members of the tribe, along with Chief Chahora Jalingo. That sacred ground was located near Angola Prison on what is now the old Trudeau Plantation in Tunica, Louisiana, which is 13 miles away. Now, he did buy 600 acres. I don't think 600 acres would cover 13 miles away, though. So I don't think that the burial ground was included in his purchase. So I think that became part of the legend.
Okay.
In regards to the Woodruff murders, in 1823, and we know this because we have actual burial records and deaths records, and they are public records down in Louisiana. Anyone can search these up. The wife, Sarah Woodruff, died in 1823 after contracting yellow fever, which is mosquito-based, blah, blah, blah. It's an epidemic that killed millions of people every year. She was 25. In the following year, July of 1824, their son James died of yellow fever, and then their daughter Cornelia died of yellow fever, and they died in July and September of 1824. So the story of Chloe poisoning and the mother and the two daughters dying is not true, because there were two daughters, but the second daughter hadn't been born in that story, or rather, the son hadn't been born in that story. So no two daughters died. One daughter and a son died at 12 years old, a year after their mother. It had nothing to do with a poisoned cake. So that's not true.
Chloe is still a real person?
We're getting that in a second. This would not okay. And also, we know that Octavia, the second daughter, lived until she was in her 60s. So we know that one of the daughters actually lived. So that story is completely fabricated. There's also no records at all of a slave being owned by the name of Chloe. We know who they owned. There's none of those slaves named Chloe. So property records of the Woodruff family are available and on public file in St. Francisville, and it lists all the slaves owned, but none of them are named.
Well, I have a
Chloe.
question for that one. I mean, do you think they could sit there and maybe not get the was there ever a?
You want me to hold on? Just hold on a second. I think I'm going to answer your question on this next part. Also, in regards to Chloe, according to the granddaughter of Harrison Williams, who took over the property at one point, he was one of the owners after the Winters family.
Right.
According to the granddaughter, her name was Lucille Lorison. The ghost is an old woman who wore a green bonnet. It was a family story that passed from her to her from her aunts. The woman was never given a name and was in fact described as an older woman, never as a young slave who might have been involved in an affair with the owner of the house. The story grew over time and became sensationalized to include an affair, a severed ear, and the murders. And when you look at that photograph, does that look the one in the corner, the ghost silhouette? Obviously, we see like the bonnet or the turban in the head, but does that look like a young slave, or does that look like an older woman?
To answer that, you'd have to have a better photo, number one. Number
Sure.
two, I can't really make any assumption on that. And the reason being, because you know what, if this was in fact a slave, she's, even at a very young age, they were beat down so bad. They were,
True.
they were, almost
Well,
like
I'll
80
be honest,
year old
I'm
by the time
let
they were
that
30.
You're not
From
wrong.
the being victims of the punishment that they were going through.
I'm looking at the photo right now.
Are you talking about the one in the mirror? Or the one the
Yeah. And I'm zooming.
one with the 6 white ladies.
Yeah, the 6 white ladies.
That's not the photo I was referring to, but okay.
Okay. So if you're going to go say, like, maybe this is Chloe.
Yeah.
This photo.
She looks young in that photo.
It looks young.
Right. I was talking about the full body silhouette in the corner between the two buildings. To me, it looks like an older woman with an older posture. Slightly slumped over. Not slumped over, but like there's a slight kind of like hump to her. She looks like an old lady.
You're taking a lot out of that photo.
I am.
You know.
So yeah, I don't see old lady in this. I see what I see in this photo right here. Again, I see she's holding something.
Maybe.
Like I feel like she's holding something down by her thing and wearing like this is like a
that's her arm.
Yeah, it's her arm, but I feel like she's wearing like a shawl or something.
Yeah. It would be like antebellum style clothing.
Yeah.
So, but that story of an old lady wearing a green bonnet or green turban came from Lucille Larison's aunts, and that would be the daughters of Harrison Williams. So maybe not a slave, or maybe not Chloe, but definitely a ghost story that was passed down.
So my question for that is though, if like, do they deny the fact that he was raping or having an affair with
I don't think
a slave?
I don't think that was ever disputed, but the idea of it being this particular girl named Chloe who then poisoned the family, that's not true.
So how did the family get poisoned?
Nobody was poisoned. The mother died of yellow fever in 1823, and a year later the daughter and the son died of yellow fever 2.5 months apart from each other.
What about the two daughters?
There were no two daughters. Okay, so Sarah had two daughters.
Right.
But they were not of the same age. One daughter lived till she was in her 60s. We know this because we know where she's buried.
Right.
The story says that she had two daughters, and they were both killed because of the poison cake, and she was pregnant with the third.
Right.
The truth is, she had two daughters and a son. The daughter and the son both died of yellow fever, and the one daughter died many, many years later of old age. Mm-hmm. So the story's full of shit. And also we know that Sarah died of yellow fever not because of a poisoned cake. In regards to Lewis Sterling, the son that was stabbed over the gambling debt, he also died of yellow fever. Did die the same year as his father, but he did not die over a gambling debt in the house. In regards to Cleo, the voodoo priestess, there's no records that any slave was murdered on the property due to the fact that they couldn't save anyone's life. There's no records existing of a young slave being hung by her master. None of that. It's another story that's out there. There's also no records that indicate that any Union soldiers were there, and surviving family members deny the story being true.
Well, I wouldn't suggest Union soldiers being there only because it's so deep in the fucking South.
Well, maybe. Now, in regards to the 17th step, I was William Dean Winters. William was murdered on the front porch of the house after the Civil War. According to the January 1871 issue of the Point Coupee, Democrat newspaper, on January 26, Winter was teaching a Sunday school lesson in the gentleman's parlor of the house when someone heard somebody approach the house on horseback. The stranger called to him saying that he had some business with him. Winter went out the side gallery of the house and was shot. He collapsed on the porch and died there. Those inside the house, stunned by the sound of gunfire and retreating hoof beats, hurried outside to find the fallen man. They found him lying dead and bleeding on the porch. The newspaper reported that a man named E.S. Weber was to stand trial, but no outcome of the case was ever recorded, and as far as it is known, Winter's killer remains unidentified and unpunished. So he did not climb the 17 stairs and died there because there was people in the house because he was teaching Sunday school, and everyone said the same thing. He died on the porch. And as far as the 1927 murder of the caretaker that was killed during a robbery, no records exist of this crime, and an incident as recent as this would have been widely reported. There's only one event close to this which may have spawned the story, and that occurred when the brother of Fannie Williams was living in a small house on the property. Fannie was one of the owners at one point. He was killed during a robbery, but this did not occur in the main house. This occurred in his side house. So, yeah, he was killed on the property, but not in the main house, which, again, when it comes to this type of shit, stories get spun out of control and the legend becomes truth. And now everyone thinks that this house has got a twisted, dark history to it. And there's been so many murders.
Look, I don't know about any of that.
I mean, look, sorry, Dad. I apologize. Go.
I from the photos that were there, and from some of the EPs, EVPs.
Yeah.
That's got to account for something. Now, and you might be right. This might be a total bullshit story that, it's like the classroom game. You say one thing, by the time we get to the end, it's something completely different. Mm-hmm. That might very well be true, and it does have signs of that. But you're not going to deny that there's something going on there.
No, and it won't.
What? I don't know. Now, again, if it isn't Chloe that is, the slave woman, then there's definitely somebody else, because that picture, I don't believe that picture's photoshopped.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I agree with you.
Way too.
Regardless of if the stories are spun out of control, there is still a lot of death that has happened on that property.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep into perspective. This was a plantation. Plantations, by their very nature, were cruel places.
Yes. So there's going to be negative energy there.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if this, I don't know, again, I don't know what negative energy is there, if it's keeping these, if you want to say these slave women still there, their spirit's still there. I don't think the slave women are negative energy. I think they're just trapped there by a negative energy because of what has happened there.
Who knows?
Now, that's one thing, like, I'm very passionate about as far as ghosts and hauntings is, I think any type of negative energy can trap a spirit in that particular place. And once you get rid of that negative energy through prayer or whatever the hell you want to do, people sage, people pray, people throw holy water, however you want to get rid of that negative energy, I think that will get, those spirits won't be there anymore. Now, again, you could sit there and say yay, you could sit there and say nay. It's all up to what you believe and what you think, if you believe in ghosts and whatnot,
Well, I can tell you that the Myrtle Plantation began picking up as a haunted place as early as the 1980s. November issue of Life magazine 1980 mentioned the poison deaths of the Woodruffs. Stories grew to include more murders at the plantation. And then of course you look at it and you say that, well, the house was furnished with ornate objects from 200 years ago or 150 years ago that are creepy just by looking at them. They're ornate and different. That's enough to keep it up. And then all these legends attract people, the storytellers and researchers and documentarians and podcasters and ghost hunters, and they each had their own experience to this place, and it's like an ever-growing spook fest because there's so much, because everybody's got their own experience now.
That's a good thing, though.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that's where it takes off, and it's always on, there's always a special around Halloween, like on the Travel Channel and shit. There's always the Plantation one. It's been featured on Ghost Hunters and other shows like that.
See, that's the thing I turn around and say that's a good thing, because it's not like we're sitting here, it's like we're only talking about, there was only a handful of experiences.
Right, it's not like an isolated incident.
You have a lot of people that are coming out saying they've experienced something or something of the same effect from what is being reported.
Right. I'm just saying, I'm providing context as why I think the Myrtles have gotten so famous and is known as the United States most haunted house. That's the reason why. I think it's because of all of these stories upon building upon building upon, and now it's a bed and breakfast owned by John and Tita Moss.
But my thing is, if you want to sit there and say because it took the stories take a life of their own after being published, like I agree with you that shit does happen, but if you sit there and listen to the evidence there, you look at the pictures and whatnot, like do you sit there and say, well, like there's something going on there?
Yeah, I'm not dismissing any of it. What I'm saying is you have every it's like social media. Every motherfucker has an opinion on this topic.
Well, yeah. It's
all subjective.
That's the thing. When you sit there and think about it, like everybody goes to sit there and like, okay, that's Myrtles Plantation, most haunted place. I've heard that about St. Augustine. That's something we're going to cover this year also. But people turn around and say it's the
Eastern State Penitentiary is the most haunted.
Eastern State Pen, or if it's Amityville, like those people, because of how big the stories have got. People sit there and go, well, this is definitely the most haunted. Look at all the shit that's happened there.
Exactly.
Like, now, granted, does shit happen there? Again, now as far as Amityville, I know the family that's been there. I haven't heard anything for the last 30 years.
That's a different beast.
But I mean, we covered that before.
But there are people now.
It's been now.
Yeah.
50. Let's see, 73. They left. They left in 75. So. 75 it's 15 and that's the 38 years that you haven't really heard
right, but I mean at least with the Myrtles it's a bed and breakfast now
and people
still
48 years
and like at the Myrtles, like there's still people like, yo, last night I heard someone walking up and down the hallways.
And people say that about
I saw something in the mirror. Like, look, you have people like you had the dog, and you also had the Facebook of like people are taking selfies in 2023 and be like, or rather 2017, be like, look, there's Mammy in the window. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Look, in November, in this season, we're gonna cover the St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Me and Dad, when we went there, we're not gonna say what it is because we'll talk about it on that episode.
Yes.
But we experienced something that me and him both think was something that people say they do experience there. Like I fully believe that I experienced that because whatever it was, it didn't sound like it should have been there.
Right. Well,
but again,
episode.
We'll cover that for the episode down there. But let's just put it like that. Dad, do you think Myrtle Plantation is haunted?
Yes, by something, whether it's the story that's out there or something different. I do believe there is something going on there. Is it the most haunted house or haunted location in the world? I don't know, man. There's a couple of abbeys over in England I think are a little more haunted than that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's funny you say that.
Castle.
I was doing a live, and someone says, "What do you think is the most haunted location you've ever seen or something like that?" I'm like, say what you will. I've seen some really fucked up places, researching, but I'm like, from the stories I've heard and the video I saw, Lep Castle over in Ireland is fucked up.
Lep's up there, man.
Look what they did on Ghost Hunter.
That's what I'm saying.
Shit out of me. We got the Wilson Spy House right here down shore. I mean, I've been trying to get there for years.
Yeah.
They say that's the most.
We covered that all the way at the beginning of Is This Real? Where we did the haunted New Jersey road trip.
Yeah. So I think somewhere along the line,
episode 4.
Yeah, episode 4 with the audio and the audio right there. We came a long way.
Yes.
Mr. West, do you think the
6 feet?
Mr. West, do you think the St. Augustine is haunted?
I mean,
Myrtle Plantation is haunted. Thank you, Mr. West. I don't do this to fuck. I fuck with him like this.
I know.
Pope, do you think the Myrtle Plantation is haunted?
Oh, 100%. I don't think it's haunted by Chloe. I don't think it's haunted by Cleo. I don't think it's haunted by Miss Cleo. Ooh, your lucky numbers are 6, 12, and 14, my love. No, I don't think it's haunted by any of those fuckers. I don't think it's I don't believe any of that. I think it's if it's gonna be haunted, it's gonna be haunted by people who have actually died there. Like the little girl, 3 years old. We know she died there. Like, that is truth. Yeah. We know that at least 3 children have died there. Kate Winters and the two, and the son and the daughter of the other guy. We know that they died of sickness.
You know for a fact, and I don't even care if it's reported or not, slaves definitely died on that.
Absolutely.
Many slaves.
Slaves died there. I think that's definitely. Listen. I'm looking at those pictures and I'm like, though that's a slave. Yeah, that's a slave woman. There's and like I truly believe that all plantations are places of cruelty, just by their very nature, and slavery was evil, just period. Effective. It kept the economy going, yes, but it is evil in and of itself. The way it was practiced.
Did he just say that slavery was effective?
Dude, how many people have made their wealth?
I can't say anything because if I start, you could yell at
me. No.
No.
But think of it. How many families made their wealth, millions and millions of dollars, off of the free fucking? They didn't pay these people anything off of the backs of these people.
I can't do it. If I do it, you're going to yell at me.
Yeah, shut up. All right.
Hey, neighbor. You want me to go there?
So we're.
My point is, yes, it is haunted. I think just from the photographs I've seen, I think it's definitely a slave.
Don't pay for labor.
I'll be honest. From my thing.
But no, I don't think it's Chloe or any of those things. No.
I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna say
it's Cleo.
Every place that we're gonna talk about this season, I do believe is haunted. And I'll just say that from that. Now, how haunted? Because there's levels of hauntings. I will say.
I agree with Dad that I don't think the Myrtles is the most haunted place in the United States, but I definitely think it's enough. I wouldn't stay the night. Let me put it like that. I wouldn't go there.
Really? You wouldn't stay the night?
Probably not.
$230 a night. I just checked it.
$230?
That's not bad.
That's like going to Seaside.
And then they have one room called the Oleander room. No, I'm not going there. That's the cheapest room there.
Yeah, if I get
$230 a night, that's not bad.
If I get up to piss in the middle of the night and there's just some woman sitting at the end dressed in antebellum clothes, honey child, don't use that room. It's not good, and disappears. I'm walking back to Jersey. There's not a thing that can keep me there.
I'll be honest though. The thing for me though, I'm not as Dad can tell from our drive down to North Carolina, which I swear to God I hope doesn't happen a second time. I'm not good with big empty spaces in the complete dark.
Yes, your host had a meltdown that night.
I had a complete panic attack.
We were driving through the backwoods of, I guess it was North Carolina.
Yeah, it was North Carolina.
At the time, there was no lights.
Because that fucking state doesn't believe in streetlights.
It's
all right.
The middle of
so much in state fucking taxes, and they don't use it for nothing. No streetlights. All right.
And we all had our iPhones, and we were getting
very smooth roads.
And we were getting.
Were you lighting the way with your iPhones?
No, we were getting the alerts.
That there's a tornado behind us.
Tornado coming.
Yeah, and Dad's like, no tornado there. We get to the end of the road, and the gas station's destroyed.
I'm literally looking for a gas station.
We have 5 miles left in the tank.
We find the gas station, and it was closed.
But all the lights were on.
All the lights were on, you know.
This was definitely a lampoon's vacation.
Leroy's taking a nap in the back. He'll pump your gas as soon as you wake up.
But yes. Anyway. Anthony, please tell everybody about our social medias.
Head on over to tiktok.com/isthisrealpc to find us. We do lives every single Sunday night. If you want to stay on TikTok and search for Pope Tony the First or JC3_ITR, then you could find me and Joey's personal TikToks, and we're always having fun on those, doing lives and enjoying ourselves.
We'll be doing one tonight.
Mr. West is also on there under Random West Vids, and you have Cito on there as well as I think he's just Cito.
No, I think he changed it.
I think he changed it, yeah. But either way, we're always on each other's TikToks. But that's the best place to interact with us. Head on over to greenarrowmedia.org. You can see all the upcoming episodes. There's a link there to go to our YouTube, which we definitely want to build up these numbers on YouTube. Please go subscribe. You can watch every single episode. You can watch behind the scenes stuff. You can watch music videos. We have cooking videos. It's a one-stop shop for all Green Arrow Media nonsense.
You couldn't wait till after the episode to do that, for the love of fucking Christ.
greenarrowmedia.org is our homepage. TikTok is the best place. And of course on our Green Arrow Media, it has links to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or X, whatever the fuck we're calling it now, as well.
For the end of the show.
All right, so everyone say goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Bye. We'll see you next week.
Adios, motherfuckers.
Nighty night, Wes. We'll see you guys next week. Remember, everybody, question everything, and please go follow all of our social medias. Good night.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.